She stood on the road with one small bag. Her husband turned his back and walked away. He believed she was poor, alone, and useless. What he did not know was this. In just a few hours, the same woman would be called a billionaire's lost daughter. And the man who left her would regret everything. Welcome to Silent Family Tears, a channel where silent pain meets hidden truth. If you love emotional and real-life stories, subscribe now. And if this story touches your heart, don't forget to comment below. She was not a loud woman. She never demanded attention. She believed silence could protect her heart. For years, she lived in a house where her voice did not matter. Her husband spoke, his family agreed, and she stayed quiet. She cooked, cleaned, and cared, but no one noticed her effort. To them, she was just a poor woman with no background, no power, and no value. Her husband often reminded her of this. He said she brought nothing into his life. No money, no status, no pride. She tried to smile when he spoke like that. She believed love meant patience. She believed pain would pass. But pain only grew. His family whispered when she entered the room. They looked at her clothes with judgment. They spoke about her past as if it was a shame. She never knew her parents. She grew up moving from place to place. Her past was empty, and they used that against her. One evening, the house felt heavier than usual. Dinner was cold on the table. The silence was sharp. Her husband returned late. His face was tired, but his anger was ready. A small question turned into a harsh argument. "You are useless," he said. "I am tired of carrying you." She tried to explain. She tried to calm him. But his mind was already made up. His family stood behind him. No one stopped him. No one defended her. That night, he made his decision. Not with tears. Not with regret. He pointed toward the door and said words she would never forget. "Leave. I don't need you anymore." The room went silent. Her heart felt empty, but her face stayed calm. She did not beg. She did not scream. She did not fall to her knees. She slowly walked into the bedroom. She packed a few clothes into a small bag. Her hands were shaking, but her steps were steady. She looked around the room one last time, not with anger, but with sadness. This was the place she once called home. This was the man she trusted. And now, it was all over. She walked back into the living room. Her husband did not look at her. His family avoided her eyes. She stood there for a moment, waiting for someone to stop her, waiting for one word of kindness. But no one spoke. She opened the door and stepped outside. The night air was cold. The street was quiet. She stood on the road with her small bag. The house behind her was dark. The future in front of her was unknown. Her husband closed the door, not knowing this moment would follow him forever. She walked without direction. Her feet moved, but her mind was empty. Her tears fell silently. She did not know where she would sleep. She did not know what she would eat. She only knew she could not go back. After a long walk, she stopped near a quiet street corner. A street light flickered above her. She sat down and rested her bag beside her. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She whispered to herself, "Be strong." Across the street, a man stood quietly. He was not random. He was watching her closely. In his hand was an old photograph. A picture of a small child with familiar eyes. Eyes that now looked tired but unchanged. He looked at her face again, then at the photo. His heart began to race. He stepped back and made a phone call. His voice was low but serious. "I think I found her," he said. "She matches everything." The woman stood up and walked away, unaware that her life had just taken a turn, unaware that her past was about to catch up with her. She believed she had lost everything that night. But the truth was, everything was just about to begin. The night passed slowly for her. The street was cold, and sleep did not come easily. When the sky began to change color, she stood up. Her body felt weak, but her mind was calm. She walked until she found a small shelter. It was not clean. It was not safe, but it was quiet. She sat on a bench and held her bag close. She thought about her life, about how quickly everything had ended. She did not hate her husband. She did not curse his family. She only felt empty. For years, she believed silence would save her. Now she understood silence had only hidden her pain. Later that morning, a woman from the shelter offered her water. She smiled gently. It was the first kindness she felt in a long time. She thanked her softly. Her voice sounded strange, even to herself. Outside the shelter, a black car stopped. It did not belong in that place. It looked expensive and out of place. A man stepped out slowly. He wore a simple suit, but his posture showed power. He asked for her by name. She froze. No one ever searched for her. No one ever came for her. She thought it was a mistake. She stepped back and said, "You have the wrong person." The man looked at her carefully, not with pride, not with judgment, but with emotion. "I don't think I do," he replied calmly. He told her he was a lawyer. He said he was looking for someone lost many years ago, a child who disappeared without answers. She laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because it felt unreal. "I am not special," she said. "I have nothing." The lawyer nodded. "That is what we were told about her too." He showed her an old file. Yellow pages. Faded ink. Inside was a photo of a little girl. The girl had the same eyes. The same small mark on her wrist. Her hands began to shake. She looked away. Her heart beat faster. She remembered that mark. She always had it, but never knew why. The lawyer explained carefully. A powerful family lost their daughter many years ago. Searches failed. Hope faded. But some records never disappeared. She listened in silence. Her mind refused to accept it. Her heart was afraid to believe it. "This is not my life," she whispered. The lawyer did not push her. He spoke slowly, respectfully. "There is only one way to know the truth," he said. "A DNA test." She wanted to say no. She wanted to run away again. Because hope scared her more than pain. She asked one question. "What if it is true?" The lawyer paused, then answered honestly. "Then your life changes forever." At the same time, across the city, her husband woke up smiling. He felt light, free. He told his friends he made the right choice. He said she was weak, that she would never survive without him. He did not feel guilt. He felt relief. Back at the shelter, she agreed to the test. Not because she believed, but because she needed closure. The process was simple, but the wait felt endless. Days passed slowly. She stayed quiet, watching people, watching life move on without her. At night, she thought about her childhood. Broken memories, strange faces, empty rooms. Somewhere deep inside, a question grew louder. What if I was never nothing? The lawyer returned one evening. His face was serious. Too serious. He did not speak at first. He handed her an envelope. She looked at it, her heart racing, her breath heavy. She did not open it. Instead, she asked, "Why now?" He answered quietly, "Because sometimes the truth waits for the right moment." She held the envelope tightly, unaware that inside were answers powerful enough to destroy one life and rebuild another. Far away, in a grand house filled with light, an old man looked at the same file. Tears fell from his eyes as he whispered, "My daughter, is she really alive?" The husband woke up that morning with a strange feeling of pride. The house felt quiet, too quiet, but he told himself that silence meant peace. For the first time in years, no one waited for him. No one asked questions. No one walked behind him quietly. He looked at the empty room and smiled. He believed he had removed a problem from his life. At work, he spoke freely. He laughed louder than usual. He told his friends he was finally free. "She had nothing," he said. "No family, no money, no future. I carried her for too long." His friends nodded. Some agreed. Some stayed silent. He did not notice the silence. He only heard his own words. Back in the city, news slowly began to spread. Not loud news, but serious news. A powerful billionaire had reopened an old case. The search for his lost daughter. A story forgotten by many. Television screens showed old photos. New reporters spoke carefully. Lawyers moved quietly. The husband saw the news at a cafe. He laughed softly and shook his head. "Fairy tales," he said. "Rich people drama." He had no idea the story was walking closer to him every second. Meanwhile, she sat alone in a quiet room provided by the lawyer's office. It was clean, warm, and unfamiliar. She stared at the envelope on the table, the DNA results still unopened, her hands resting beside it. Hope scared her, because hope could hurt more than pain. She remembered her husband's words. "You are nothing." They echoed louder now. She asked herself a simple question. What if he was wrong? The lawyer returned later that evening, his face serious but calm. He sat across from her. He did not rush. He did not smile. "Are you ready?" he asked. She nodded slowly, her heart pounding. Across town, the husband prepared for a celebration. Not for joy, but for freedom. He bought new clothes. He planned a new future. He erased her name from his phone. He believed she would disappear quietly, like she always did. The lawyer opened the envelope carefully. He read the words once, then looked up at her. His voice was steady, but his eyes were full. "The results are a match," he said. "You are their daughter." The room went silent. She did not cry. She did not speak. Her world did not explode. It froze. She felt fear before happiness, shock before relief. "This changes everything," the lawyer continued. "But only if you allow it." She whispered one sentence. "So, I was never nothing." The lawyer nodded slowly. That same night, the billionaire received the confirmation. He dropped his phone, his hands shaking. After years of regret, after endless searching, his daughter was alive. He ordered a private meeting immediately. No cameras, no noise. Back at his apartment, the husband scrolled through his phone. A headline stopped him. "Billionaire confirms identity of long-lost daughter." He paused. Something about the story felt heavy. A blurred photo appeared on the screen. Not clear, but familiar. His chest tightened. His smile faded. He shook his head and locked the phone. "Impossible," he whispered. But doubt had already entered his mind. The next day, the city buzzed louder. Luxury cars, security teams, quiet meetings. She was dressed simply, still unsure how to stand in this new world. She was guided through large doors, into a room filled with light and silence. The billionaire stood slowly, his eyes fixed on her face. He did not speak at first. He walked closer and stopped just a step away. Tears filled his eyes. "My child," he said softly. Her heart broke and healed at the same time. Across the city, the husband watched the news again, this time closely. The camera showed her face clearly. No blur, no doubt. His breath stopped. It was her, the woman he abandoned, the woman he called nothing. His phone slipped from his hand. His future collapsed in 1 second. As the screen faded, a reporter said one final line. She was left with nothing, but she was born with everything. The news spread faster than anyone expected, not as gossip, but as truth. Television screens, phones, and newspapers shared the same story. The billionaire's lost daughter was found, alive, safe, and standing beside him. She did not smile for the cameras. She did not enjoy the attention. She stood quietly, trying to breathe. The world saw a rich man and his daughter, but no one saw the fear inside her heart. Security surrounded her. Luxury cars waited outside. Everything felt unreal. Just days ago, she had nothing. Now the world watched her every move. The billionaire spoke calmly, his voice strong but emotional. "I searched for her for many years," he said. "I never stopped believing." The cameras flashed. People clapped. But she felt small. After the press event, she sat alone in a quiet room. The walls were white. The silence was heavy. She held her hands together, trying to understand her new life. The billionaire knocked softly and entered. He did not bring guards. He did not bring assistants. He sat across from her, not as a powerful man, but as a father. "I know this is too much," he said. "You don't have to accept anything today." She looked at him carefully. She saw guilt in his eyes, not pride. "I don't know how to be your daughter," she said softly. He nodded. "I don't know how to be your father, but we can learn." Her eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but from something she never had before. Meanwhile, across the city, the husband locked himself inside his apartment. The same news played again and again. He could not escape her face, her calm eyes, her quiet strength. People called him. Friends asked questions, but he did not answer. He remembered the night he pointed to the door, the bag in her hand, the silence in her eyes. For the first time, shame replaced pride. At work, whispers followed him. People looked at him differently. Someone finally asked, "Didn't you know her?" He froze, his throat dry. That night, he sat alone in the dark, the truth heavy on his chest. He told himself he would apologize, that he would explain, that he would fix everything. But fear stopped him. Back at the estate, she walked through long halls. The floors shined. The walls were filled with art. Nothing felt like home. She asked for one thing: time. She thought about her past, about the woman she was, about the woman she was becoming. She wondered if her husband ever loved her, or if she was just convenient silence. The billionaire watched her from a distance. He understood she needed space. Days passed, and the media waited. Then one evening, she received a message. A simple message, from a number she knew too well. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please let me explain." Her hands trembled. Her heart stayed calm. She did not reply. She walked outside into the garden. The night air cool and peaceful. She realized something important. Her pain was not about money. It was about respect. The next morning, she agreed to one public interview. Not for fame, but for closure. She sat in front of the camera, her voice steady, her posture calm. I was abandoned, she said. But I survived. I was treated like nothing. But I am still here. The world listened in silence. Across the city, the husband watched every second. Tears filled his eyes. But regret came too late. As the interview ended, the host asked one final question. Will you ever forgive the man who left you? She paused, looked into the camera, and answered calmly. You will hear my answer very soon. The studio was quiet after her words. Lights were still on. Cameras waited. But no one rushed her. She sat calmly, hands resting in her lap. Eyes steady. The question still echoed in the room. Will you ever forgive the man who left you? She did not answer right away. Not because she was confused, but because she finally understood herself. Across the city, the husband leaned closer to the screen, his heart beating fast, his hands shaking. This was his moment, his last hope. She took a slow breath and spoke. I don't hate him, she said. But forgiveness does not always mean return. The room stayed silent. She continued. I was abandoned when I had nothing. Not because I was weak, but because I was unseen. Her voice did not break. It grew stronger. That pain taught me who I am. The interview ended. But her message stayed with millions. The billionaire watched from behind the camera. Pride and regret mixed in his eyes. He understood her strength came from survival, not money. That evening, she returned to the estate. Not as a lost daughter, but as a woman who knew her worth. Later that night, her phone rang. She already knew who it was. The husband's voice was soft, full of regret. I didn't know, he said. If I knew, I would never have left. She closed her eyes. Not in pain, but in clarity. That is the problem, she replied. You only see value when the world shows it to you. He begged. He apologized. He promised change. She listened quietly, then answered one final time. You left when I needed respect, not wealth. The call ended. So did the past. The next day, the billionaire offered her everything. A name, a future, a place in his world. She accepted one thing and refused another. She accepted family, but refused to hide her past. She asked for a small foundation to be built, not in her name, but for women abandoned in silence. The billionaire agreed without question. News spread again, but this time the story was different. Not about money, not about status, but about dignity. The husband watched from afar, seeing her build a life without him, a life stronger than before. He realized the truth too late. He did not lose her because she became rich. He lost her because he never believed she was enough. One evening, she stood alone on a balcony, city lights shining below, wind calm against her face. The billionaire joined her quietly. You are stronger than I ever imagined, he said. She smiled softly. I had to be. She looked at the sky and whispered, not to anyone else, but to herself. I survived. She did not feel revenge. She felt peace. Because the greatest victory was not wealth. It was walking away without bitterness. She was never saved by money. She was saved by the moment she stopped begging for love. And the man who abandoned her learned one truth too late. Some losses can never be repaired. Because respect, once broken, never returns the same. End message, soft and powerful. She lost everything one night, but gained herself forever.